ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। So namaste once again everyone.
नमस्ते गुरुजी, प्रणाम।
Pranam, namaste. So, seeing the third mantra. We will chant the mantra and also the bhashyam, and then we will start from where we left off in the last class. Okay. Shaunako havai
शौनको हवै
महाशालोङ्गिरसं
महाशालोङ्गिरसं
विधिवत् उपसन्नः पप्रच्छ
विधिवत्पसन्नः पप्रच्छ
कस्मिन्नु भगवो विज्ञाते
तस्मिन्नु भगवो विज्ञाते
सर्वमिदं विज्ञातं भवति इति।
सर्वमिदं विज्ञातं भवति
किमित्याह
किमित्याह
कस्मिन्नु भगवो विज्ञाते
कस्मिन्नु भगवो विज्ञाते
नु इति वितर्के
नु इति वितर्के
भगवो हे भगवन्
भगवो हे भगवन्
सर्वं यत् इदं विज्ञेयं
सर्वं यदिदं विज्ञेयं
विज्ञातं
विज्ञातं
विशेषेण ज्ञातमवगतं
विशेषेण ज्ञातम् अवगतं
भवति इति।
भवति
एकस्मिन् ज्ञाते
एकस्मिन् विज्ञाते
सर्वविद् भवति इति।
सर्वविद् भवति इति
शिष्टप्रवादं श्रुतवान्
शिष्टप्रवादं श्रुतवान्
शौनकः
शौनकः
तद्विशेषं
तद्विशेषं
विज्ञातु कामः सन्
विज्ञातुकामः सन्
कस्मिन्विति
कस्मिन्निति
वितर्कयन् पप्रच्छ
वितर्कयन् पप्रच्छ
अथवा
अथवा
लोकसामान्यदृष्ट्या
लोकसामान्यदृष्ट्या
ज्ञात्वैव पप्रच्छ
ज्ञात्वैव प्रपञ्च
संति लोके
सन्ति लोके
सुवर्णादि सकल भेदाः
सुवर्णादिशकलभेदाः
सुवर्णत्वादि एकत्व विज्ञानेन
सुवर्णत्वादि एकत्वविज्ञानेन
विज्ञायमाना
विज्ञायमाना
लौकिकैः
लौकिकैः
तथा किं वस्ति
तथा
तथा
किं वस्ति
सर्वस्य जगद्भेदस्य
सर्वस्य जगद्भेदस्य
एकं कारणम्
एकं कारणं
यदेकस्मिन् विज्ञाते
यदेकस्मिन् विज्ञाते
सर्वं विज्ञातं भवति इति.
सर्वं विज्ञातं भवति इति.
Very good. Thank you very much. So, in the last class, we had started discussing the Bhashya, where Bhashyakara is explaining the question raised by Shaunaka to his teacher Angiras. And the question is stated in the second line of the mantra. In the previous line of the mantra, that is the first line, it was said that Shaunaka met the Guru Angiras and asked a question. And the question is stated in the second line of the mantra. And therefore, Bhashyakara starts his Bhashyam on the second line with an interrogatory sentence. He starts with Kimityaha. Kim means, what did he ask? Because the previous sentence, first line ended with Papracha, means he asked. Now, Kimityaha, what did he ask? Iti aha means, then Kim means what did he ask, and Iti aha means the Shruti is now answering. What did Shaunaka ask? The Shruti is giving the answer, the Upanishad is giving the answer. Because Angiras has not opened his mouth till now. So what is Shruti saying? Shruti is saying the question, as we have seen, is Kasminnu Bhagavo Vijñate Sarvamidam Vijñatam Bhavati Iti. So the question asked by Shaunaka to his teacher is, what is that knowing which everything becomes known? Very loaded question. And given that Shaunaka is asking a specific question, Bhashyakara states that it indicates that he has some prior knowledge of the existence of some such thing, knowing which everything becomes known. And in that context, in the last class, we briefly discussed about how the process of knowledge takes place, how we gain knowledge. So first we get Samanya Jnanam, based on which we make inquiries, then use appropriate means, and then we will get Vishesha Jnanam. And therefore, this question of Shaunaka is a special, a Vishesha Prashna, seeking Vishesha Jnanam. And that indicates that he had Samanya Jnanam, that there is something knowing which everything becomes known. But he doesn't know what that something is. That is what he wants to know now. So he wants to now know that thing, what is that thing. But before that, there is another question, which is, how did he get this Samanya Jnanam? Because nowhere it is stated that he has heard this question and things like that and all, or such a Jnanam he got. And that is what Bhashyakara is discussing in this sentence. The background, how he get this Samanya Jnanam. So he says, Ekasmin Jnate Sarvavid Bhavati Iti Shishta Pravadam Shrutavan Shaunakaha. Again, Shaunakaha it is written, please correct it as Shaunaka. It's a typo. Ekasmin jnate. On knowing one thing, or when one thing is known. We can translate it both the ways rather. Exact translation if you want, when one thing is known. Ekasmin jnate. Ekasmin jnate sati. Sarvavid bhavati purushaha. So we can supply the words to grammatically complete the sentence. Bhavati, sarvavid bhavati purushaha, we can say. So we can supply words. On knowing one thing, on knowing one particular thing, a person bhavati becomes sarvavid, all knowing. On knowing one particular thing, the person becomes all knowing. That's the question. Iti, in this manner, Shishta Pravadam. Shishta Pravadam means traditional statement. Traditional saying of Shishta. Shishta means learned people. Pravadaha means Prakrishtavadaha. Prakrishtavadaha, Pravadaha. Prakrishta means well, exceptional. Here Vadaha means we can take it as statement. So Pravadaha means an exceptional statement, a very well said statement. So Shishta Pravadam means exceptional traditional saying of learned people. That is by the learned people. Shrutavan, had heard. Shaunaka. So Shaunaka had heard from learned people an exceptional statement. And that statement is Ekasmin jnate sarvavid bhavati. Sarvavid bhavati or sarvam jnatam bhavati. On knowing one thing, a person becomes all knowing. So Shaunaka, being brought up in the Vedic culture, must have heard such a statement. He must have attended the Veda Patashala for a number of years. In Veda Patashalas, typically, they are exposed to the Upanishads also, even though the focus is mainly on Veda mantras, the Purva Bhaga, the Prayoga and things like that and all, how to conduct rituals, what are all material required, etc. Still, they are exposed to the mantras of the Upanishads also rather, even though they don't go into the meanings and all detailed meanings. But they know. So Shaunaka also must have studied the Moolam, at least, of the Mundaka Upanishad. And there, not Mundaka, because Mundaka Upanishad is where he is an actor. Some other Upanishads, where it is stated that by knowing one thing, everything will be known. And his teacher or, who was there in the Patashala must have taught him. These are all our own imagination. Right? We have to visualize. So Shishta Pravadam Bhashyakara brings in, because that is what happens, many times we hear things and there are things, like curiosity is aroused. Suppose some very well-known doctor says that diabetes can be reversed, right? This is just a statement he makes. He doesn't give you any details, and you are a diabetic patient. And you are troubled checking your blood sugar every now and then, taking the medicines. Be very careful about what you eat. The little bit, some sweet you eat, finish, sugar shoots up. All those things, very, very troubled life. So you think, oh, if there is a process, if there is something by doing which I can get rid of this entire diabetes, it can be reversed, then I want to know more about it. And that is the doctor telling you that diabetes can be reversed is Shishta Pravadam. Learned person. He makes a statement rather because normally everybody believes diabetes is something which cannot be reversed. But here is a doctor who says. So that is the reason for the Vishesha Prashna, a question about which is about specific details. So the basis for Samanya Jnanam is Shishta Pravadam. Then Tad Vishesham Vijñatu Kamaha San Kasmin Viti Vitarkayan Papracha. Tad Vishesham Vijñatu Kamaha. Vijñatu Kamaha means a person who has a desire of knowing. Desire of knowing what? Desire of knowing tad, that thing, that vishesham, that specific knowledge in detail. So tad vishesham vijñatu kamaha means desirous of knowing that thing specifically in details. San means having been or being. So being desirous of knowing that thing specifically in detail, papracha, he asked. So that means what? He had samanya jnanam, which was the basis for the question asking for specific knowledge of that thing, knowing which everything will be known in detail. And what did he ask? Kasmin nviti vitarkayan. Nviti, we should split it as nu iti. That is nviti. It's a sandhi. We have already seen nu should be understood in the sense of vitarka. Vitarka means assumption, some reflection, some supposition. So vitarkayan means assuming, conjecturing, supposing, all these words you can use. Therefore, based on his samanya jnanam, based on the traditional saying of learned people, he had heard that there is something knowing which a person becomes all-knowing, which formed the basis of his question, asking for specific knowledge of the detail. And supposing or assuming the existence of such a thing, because learned people have told him. And having the desire of knowing that, he asked the question, asking for that specific knowledge in detail. So this is the first interpretation Bhashyakara gives. Now he says Athava. He gives the second possibility also regarding this basis for this Vishesha Prashna, which he presents in the next sentence. Athava lokasamanya drishtya jnatvaiva papracha. Athava means or, another possibility. What is that? Lokasamanya drishtya. Through samanya drishti, the general observation of loka. Loka means the world. So, through general observation in the world, jnatva eva, jnatvaiva is there, that should be split as jnatva eva. Having known, indeed. Eva means indeed. Papracha asked. So, in the second interpretation, Bhashyakara says, having indeed known through general observation in the world, he asked a question. What does it mean? Here, Bhashyakara is suggesting an Anumana Pramana. That the general observation based on Pratyaksha Pramana is that any effect is non-separate from the cause. Now he must have observed the world around, and being a very intelligent person, wise person, he would have seen all clay products are non-separate from the clay. Somebody is going on. Not separate from the clay. In fact, if we observe and analyze further and think it over, one cause alone is getting expressed in the form of various effects. So all karyani, all products, product is called karyam. Sarvani karyani, all the products have but ekam karanam, one cause. All products are nothing but one cause. Sarvani karyani ekam karanam eva. So all are nothing but one cause. And therefore, if you know the cause well, then all the effects are essentially known. Essentially known means what really they are. What is their essence, that is known. Like when I know gold, if gold is known, then all ornaments are essentially known. And that is what really ornaments are. Substance-wise, they are known. Somebody is desperately calling me. Okay, let me just check. Give me a minute. He called here and now is coming on the intercom also. Just give me a minute. I would hate to do this, but let me check who is this.
SIM card செயலிழப்பு, மின்சார துண்டிப்பு, KYC.
Hello.
Hello.
மாமா சாயி மாவட்ட பேசினாலோ
நான் மறுபடி அப்புறமா போய் கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கேன் நான். I will talk to you later. So if I know gold, then all the ornaments are essentially known, all gold ornaments, isn't it? So what really ornaments are? They are nothing but gold. Substance-wise, I can know all those things. And therefore, we have this general observation. What is the general observation? Karana jnanena karya jnanam bhavati. By knowledge of the cause, one gets the knowledge of the effect. The karanam, cause is one, and karyani, the effects are many. So, aneka karyanam jnanam ekasya karanasya jnanena bhavati. Otherwise, how can you know the essence of each and every effect? Because they are innumerable, isn't it? From one lump of gold, just imagine how many ornaments and what different kinds of ornaments can be made. You can spend a huge amount of time knowing the essence of each and every one. But if you know that the cause of all of them is gold, then what? Then all the effects are as well as known. And this is the particular observation which Shaunaka must have seen. Eka karanatva vijnanena sarva karanasya vijnanam bhavati. And this is what is called loka samanya drishti. For example, he must have gone to a goldsmith. Maybe, just imagination. With lot of ornaments, different kinds of ornaments, ring, bangles, to evaluate the value or something for some purpose. The gold, for the goldsmith, he sees only one thing. He sees gold in everything. He is not bothered whether the shape is round or it is a necklace and things like that and all. The price that is going to offer to you for buying that thing is the price of gold only. In fact, he will even reduce some amount because of the loss of gold, because of the making of the ornaments and all. Most people who buy gold know all these things. So Saunaka must have seen these ornaments and all don't mean anything for the goldsmith. He is only seeing gold. Why? Because gold is the karanam for ornaments. So if I know gold, then I will know that when I see all the ornaments, I will know that they are all golden ornaments or gold ornaments. So this is called Loka Samanya Drishti, observation of this particular fact, that by knowing the cause, all effects are essentially known. So this particular idea he had observed in the world. Now he wants to extend it, extrapolate it to the entire world. Therefore, if by knowing the clay, knowing all the clay products can be knowledge of all clay products can be gained, or if all clay products can be known, then by knowing the cause of everything, the essence of everything should be known. So this is the logic he applies. So he has some knowledge based on anumanam, inference, that there must be something which is the fundamental karanam of everything, knowing which all the effects of the world will be known. So Bhashyakara says this is another possibility because of which he is asking this Vishesha Prashna. Bhashyakara doesn't leave anything to chance. If he says one interpretation, Purva Pakshi will stand up. Why not this? Why can't it be like this? Why you are saying that he has heard some learned people that he could have observed himself? He's an intelligent boy. So Bhashyakara says, okay, fine. I will include that also. So in the next sentence, Bhashyakara explains the basis for the second possibility. And the same gold example he gives. Santi loke suvarnadi shakala bedaha suvarnatwadi ekatva vijnanena vigyayamana laukikaihi तथा किम वस्ति सर्वस्य जगद्भेदस्य एकम कारणम यदेकस्मिन् विज्ञाते सर्व विज्ञातम भवति इति. Santi loke. Santi means there are. Loke, in the world. Suvarnadi shakala beda hai. The varieties of pieces of gold. Suvarna means gold. We all know that. So here pieces refers to the ornaments. Vedaha means varieties. Varieties of shakala. Shakala literally means khanda, pieces. So Suvarnadi shakala vedaha means varieties of pieces of gold. And as I said, here pieces we should understand as ornaments. So varieties of ornaments of gold, adi, etc. You can take other example, wood example, clay example, all that. Glass, glass also, many tumbler and mug and jug, so many things are made of glass. So adi can refer to clay, wood, glass, etc. And that's why he is very careful to use the word shakala. He doesn't use the word abharanam. Even though he is giving the example of Suvarna Adi, he uses the word shakala because ornaments he can use only if it is applicable to gold. He cannot show ornaments of clay and ornaments of wood, etc. So Bhashyakara, so particular about the use of words. So he says shakala. Shakala means which can be applicable to any causes, in all other causes, all products. So Shakala Beda hai. He wants to refer to all the products, right? Suvarnatva adi ekatva vijnanena. Vijnanena, by the knowledge of. Ekatva, oneness of. Suvarnatva adi, goldness, etc. Goldness, clayness, woodness, all that we can put. Glassness. So by the knowledge of oneness of goldness, etc., Lokikaihi, by common men, what is suggested or what is conveyed here is that in the world, we find that any product is known by knowing its cause. When we know the effect, then the cause is known. When we know the cause, the effects are also as well known essentially. Like if we understand the nature of pot or the nature of pot as clay, then we understand the nature of its cause also, which is clay. And the effect being non-separate from the cause, on knowing the cause, all effects are as well known. And Shaunaka wants to extend this logic to the entire world. For example, if you go to a furniture shop, now they have got different types of furnitures and different prices for the same type of furniture. One chair may cost some 10,000 rupees, whereas another chair may just cost you 1,000 rupees. Then you will see what is the reason why this huge price difference is there. Because the 10,000 rupees chair is made of teak wood, the 1,000 rupees chair is made of plastic. So you will know the teak wood, the quality of teak wood and the quality of plastic. So by knowing that the chair is of teak wood, you will know that all teak wood products will be more durable and they will be more expensive. So by knowing the effect, the cause will be very well known. And as I said, Shaunaka wants to extend this logic to the entire world. Tata kim nwasti sarvasya jagat bhedasya ekam karanam yad ekasmin vijnate sarvam vijnatam bhavati iti. And therefore we say tata, similarly. Kim nu asti, what is really there? Sarvasya jagat bhetasya ekam karanam. Ekam karanam means one cause of jagata bheda hai, the varieties in the world, the various things in the world. Sarvasya means all. So all the varieties in the world. So what is really there as one cause for all the varieties in the world? Because everything should have a cause. Now, we said gold ornament cause is gold. Then pot and all pottery cause is clay. Now, that is fine. But what is the cause of gold? What is the cause of clay? What is the cause of glass? What is the cause of wood? Actually, that question will come for any logical, intelligent mind. So if we go on asking such questions, then come finally say, is there any one cause from where all these products have emanated? And if so, what is that cause? And Bhashyakara uses this word ekam karanam because it is found that karyani bahuni santi. The effects are many. Karanam to ekam, cause is one. Pots are many, clay is one. Ornaments are many, gold is one. Furniture are many, wood is one. Similarly, for the entire world in which there are so many things, varieties of things are there must be one cause. And that cause I want to know. Yad ekasmin vijnate sarvam vijñatam bhavati iti. Yad ekasmin, which one, vijñate, knowing, sarvam vijñatam bhavati. Everything becomes as well known. So what is that one cause of the world, knowing which everything in the world, all varieties of things in the world will become known. So here, the important Siddhanta Vedanta is suggested in the question itself rather. In fact, in Shaunaka's question itself, the Siddhanta is suggested. What is the Siddhanta? That Karyam, the effect, is not having its own independent existence. Karanam alone is having independent existence. And that which has got independent existence is called Satyam. And that which is having dependent existence is called Mithya. And therefore, knowing Satyam, Mithya is as well known. Satyam jnanena Mithya karya jnanam bhavati. Because Mithya products do not have existence apart from Satyam, the cause. And Pujya Swamiji used to emphasize this one idea. He says, whenever we hear that knowing one thing, everything is as well known, that is, if we know the Mula Karanam, the fundamental cause of everything, which we are going to understand as Brahman, everything is known, should not be taken literally. We should not think that once a person knows Brahman, then he will know physics, chemistry, astronomy, astrology, everything. Even though it looks like that, isn't it? Simple, straightforward statement, it looks by knowing one thing, everything is as well known. So if you translate the question of Shaunaka literally, this is the misunderstanding one could have. So here we have to understand it very carefully. That knowing everything means knowing the essence of everything. That part we have to emphasize in our understanding. Otherwise, people will ask the question, what a funny thing you are talking about. By knowing one Brahman, can you tell me the chemical formula of water? What is the atomic weight of hydrogen? Or for that matter, any element? And if you say, no, all that I don't know, then they will say, either you don't know Brahman, or you are fooling people by saying that by knowing one thing, everything else is well known. So therefore, we Vedantins, when we should not be talking about all these things to general people who don't have any clue about what Vedanta is. Vedanta is meant only for classroom, for Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasam. Learning from a guru, clearing all our doubts through Mananam, and dwelling, assimilating that knowledge, getting rid of all our previous orientation through Nididhyasana. It's, as I keep saying, it's a purely personal pursuit. It is not meant to make yourself or advertise yourself that, oh, I am a great Vedanta teacher. All of you come to me, I will teach Vedanta. Vedanta is not to be discussed on the dining table. Vedanta is not to be discussed in a group of people who have got no idea even of what Vedas is. Never ever imagine that such complicated ideas, such profound ideas, people will understand easily. So don't even try that. If you have understood well enough, that is more than enough. So therefore, we have to be very, very careful when studying Vedanta, Because this tendency some students will have in the initial stages. What will happen is when you are studying Vedanta, and in fact it has happened to me also, honestly speaking. Initial stages, you are very proud of your knowledge. So somebody comes and asks you, what are you doing? Oh, I am studying Vedanta. Oh, Vedanta, what is that? Then you start with Brahman and all things like that. Then you say, what nonsense? Yeah? What is this, all this Brahman and all? Where? Can you show me Brahman? And then you will say, no, that Brahman can't be seen and all that. So what is not seen? Why you are telling me that such a thing exists and all? So it will turn into a argument, and sometimes, as Puja Swamiji used to always warn, the arguments given by other people will be so convincing that you will get doubt on Vedanta which you have studied. And therefore, Vedanta is only meant for mumukshus. We have seen Tattvabodha. Mumukshutvam is one of the important qualification, one of the important sadhana chatushtaya sampatti for a spiritual seeker. And therefore, when we say by knowing one thing or knowing Brahman, everything else will be known, we have to be very careful in understanding it ourselves also. So by knowing Brahman, everything is as well known means everything is essentially known. Knowing everything in detail is possible only for Ishvara, who has got the Maya Upadhi. No human being, it is possible to know everything. So knowing everything in detail belongs to the Upadhi, that too only in the Samashti Upadhi, which is the Maya Upadhi. So in Shastra, we have got two words for describing one who knows everything. One is called Sarvajnah and the other is called Sarvavit. Sarvajnah means Sarvam Tatvatah Janati. Iti Sarvajnah. One who knows the essence of everything. He is called Sarvajnah. So a wise person, a Mahatma, a Jnani is Sarvajnah because he knows everything essentially. He knows the essence of everything is Brahman alone. And Ishvara also with his Maya Upadhi is Sarvajnah because Ishvara also knows everything essentially. Ishvara has got Brahma Jnanam. But Ishvara has got one additional feature. He not only knows knows the essence of everything, he also knows everything in detail. Therefore, he has got two titles. Bhagavan Ishvara has got two titles. Sarvajnah and Sarvavit. Both titles he has. Even though the Sarvavit, we actually try to use it very loosely in the context of a Mahatma or a Jnani also. But the right usage for a Jnani is, if you want to use the dhatu with, you can say Vedavit, Brahmavit, not Sarvavit. Sarvavit title we can use only for Ishvara. Both titles, yes. He knows everything essentially and he also knows everything in detail. Whereas a wise person knows the essence of everything and therefore he is Sarvajnah. But he is not a Sarvavit because even the Upadhi of a wise person is only a limited Upadhi, unlike the Upadhi of Ishvara. And for this limited Upadhi, it is not possible to know everything in detail. And therefore, even a wise person, a Sarvajnah, appreciates Ishvara as Sarvavit and he glorifies him. By becoming a Sarvajnah, he does not say, oh, I am the greatest person of the all. He knows there is somebody who is cause of me also, who is Sarvavit. So by knowing everything essentially and knowing everything in detail for a mumukshu does not matter. Because what really matters is what is the truth of everything. We are all seekers of truth. That is important. If I know the truth of everything as myself, when I get the knowledge, that knowledge of the self, Atma Jnanam, then nothing else remains to be known for gaining any purpose. So whether something is known or not known, my limitless being is not affected. And moreover, Puja Swamiji very nicely says here that this Brahma Vidya knocks off this particular conclusion that I am ignorant. Aham Ajnanavan. This conclusion which everybody has got, this Brahma Vidya knocks off that conclusion. My identification with ignorance is knocked off. And because of that only, this particular conclusion that I am ignorant makes me struggle to know various things in detail, without which I feel uncomfortable, without which I feel sometimes very defensive. How come I don't know this? When someone else knows, I should also know. That person also studied Vedas for 12 years. I have also studied Veda for 12 years, but I do not know this particular suktam or particular mantra. And for knowing that, I need to do something. To do that something, I have to be a karta. So finally, the ignorance is the root cause of my assuming myself to be a doer, a karta. So all these things happen because I have a conclusion that I am ignorant. And being a karta, I struggle in my life, throughout my life. I am trying to lead a life of becoming, a life of knowing. I am so and so, so I want to become so and so and so. I don't know so and so thing, so I want to know that so and so thing. This is the whole struggle we spend. That's why we call samsari. And this Brahma Vidya knocks off that particular conclusion. It teaches me that I am not ignorant. I am the limitless Brahman, the truth of everything. The truth of everything is Brahman. And that Brahman I am. I am distinct from ignorance. Ignorance belongs to my body, mind, sense complex. I am not that. I bless the presence of ignorance in my body, mind, sense complex, but I am distinct from that ignorance. And therefore, the struggle to know everything in detail, the feeling of being limited based on not knowing everything in detail goes away. And therefore, we say, knowing Brahman, everything is as well known. As well known should be understood as everything is known essentially. I have told you. I will repeat it n number of times because you have to, if you are a serious Vedantin, if you are really pursuing moksha, this you have to put it, drill it in your intellect. And through the intellect to your subconscious. And if everything is known, what would have been the effect? Satisfaction. Isn't it? Suppose you know, for a moment, let us assume you know everything that is there in the world. All subjects you have mastered, everything. What will be the final thing? You will be satisfied. You will be free from the conclusion that you are ignorant. But that itself, that goes with Brahma Jnanam itself. So effect-wise, this jnanam gives me the all-knowing status. So what would one get by all-knowing status? That satisfaction or freedom from conclusion that I am ignorant. And that is attained by Brahma Vidya. And therefore it is said, Yad ekasmin vijñāte sarvam vijñātam bhavati. As I said, it should not be taken in the literal sense. So here, Bhashyakara has talked about the second basis. That Shaunaka must have observed this phenomenon, that knowing the Karanam, all effects are known, all Karyam are known. And the whole world will definitely have the cause, because the world seems to be an effect. And knowing that cause, everything will be known, because by the Karana Jnanam, Karya Jnanam takes place. And if I know the nature of Karanam, the Karyam does not have existence apart from Karanam. Therefore, the Swarupa of Karyam will be the Swarupa of Karanam. So by knowing the nature of the cause, I will know the nature of effect. And therefore, I would like to know what is that cause, knowing which everything is as well known. So therefore, Bhashyakara has presented two possibilities as the basis for this question. The first possibility is Shishta Prabhada, traditional saying from learned people. And the second was based on general observation on the basis of Anumanam or inference. Now, despite such involved explanation, this Purva Pakshi is still not very satisfied. According to him, this is not the way Shaunaka should have asked the question. Isn't it? Well, Purva Pakshi, opponent will always have some objection. So, according to him, Shaunaka should have first asked the question, is there something knowing which everything is as well known? Then the teacher should have said, yes, there is something. Then he should have asked, what is that something? Then that will make sense. Context-wise makes sense. Simply straight away asking what is that which is knowing which everything is as well known is not the correct approach of Shaunaka. And this is the proper conduct and etiquette in communication. Like for example, I have to ask you, do you work? Then if you say yes, then I will ask you, where do you work? Straight away asking where do you work is not correct, because the fellow may be unemployed, already in deep depression because of not having a job. And you go and ask him, where do you work? What will he feel? He's struggling to get a job. So if you ask him, where do you work? It will be a very awkward question. In fact, I am reminded of an old joke which I have heard, when I was in school or college, Some jokes, typically Sardarji jokes in North India, Sardarji jokes, in Kerala and all Nambudri jokes, and in UK Scottish jokes. They are all very famous characters for, production of or making of jokes rather. So, of course, we will remove all those characters. We'll say that a person, right? And it's a joke. It's only a joke. I request everybody, please do not get offended. It is not meant to offend anybody. It seems there was this person who was going abroad, say to London, and he had very little knowledge of English. There was no time to learn more, but he wanted to know the proper way of conversing with people in UK, in London, especially women. Because he had heard that the English women are very particular with manners, etiquette, etc. So he asked a friend, he asked a friend and was told that when you speak to any English woman and want to know how many children she has, you have to first ask her if she is married. If she says yes, then ask the second question, do you have children? So with this learning, so he memorized. First question, are you married? Second question, do you have children? Then of course she will say yes, I have, no, I don't have, whatever it is. So with this learning, he went to London. And there he met a good-looking English woman. He approached her and asked, are you married? She said no. Then he asked, do you have children? The lady was very upset and slapped him. Oh, he thought, oh my God, perhaps I have asked the wrong question, so that the lady became upset. Maybe I forgot the sequence of the questions. Therefore, when he met the next lady, he asked her, do you have any children? She said, yes, I have 2 children. Then he asked, are you married? Again, that lady got upset and she also slapped him. So this poor guy was totally confused and wondered what was wrong with both the ladies. And both the ways I have asked the question and both of them are upset. Of course, this joke is set in a society which was conservative. I don't know whether it will be a joke in today's world, because people have children without marriage and people are married without children also. Rather, not married with children, and of course they are married and they have children. I'm confusing. So they are married without children, not married with children. So that is the conclusion. So in today's world, we see that lot. But this is an old joke, as I said, 50 years ago. Conservative society. Anyway, coming back to the Purva Pakshi's objection. So we have already discussed about Samanya Jnanam, Vishesha Jnanam, Samanya Prashna and Vishesha Prashna. And we also saw examples. I hope you remember all of them. So Vishesha Jnanam presupposes Samanya Jnanam, and Vishesha Prashna also presupposes Samanya Jnanam. And therefore, if Samanya Jnanam is not there, then there should be Samanya Prashna. Then if Samanya Jnanam is there, then there should be Vishesha Prashna. Therefore, these are the 4 stages. Samanya Prashna, Samanya Jnanam, Vishesha Prashna, Vishesha Jnanam. Or other way. Samanya Jnanam, Samanya Prashna first, Samanya Jnanam, then Vishesha Prashna, Vishesha Jnanam. Correct sequence. So Purva Pakshi is holding that the question by Shaunaka was not proper. He raised a Vishesha Prashna without getting Samanya Jnanam by raising a Samanya Prashna. You may say that he got Samanya Jnanam by all this Ishta Pravada, observing the world, etc. But those are all your assumption. How do you know that he had Samanya Jnanam? Nowhere in the Upanishad it is stated that he had Samanya Jnanam. So this is the objection, and Bhashyakara gives a brilliant answer for that. We'll see that. We'll first read the objection by the Purva Pakshi. We'll read. Nanu aviditehi.
Nanu avidite.
What happened? Everybody has slept off.
Nanu
Nanu avidite hi kasmin iti prashnah anupapannah kimasti tat iti tada prashno yuktah siddhehi astitve kasmin iti syat
Kasmin iti syat
Yatha kasmin nidheyam
yata kasmin nideyam
iti.
iti.
So we will see discuss the Purva Pakshi's objection, Bhashyakara's answer in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
ధన్యవాదాలు గురుజీ.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Happy Pongal.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you, Guruji.
Happy Pongal to all of you.
Thank you.
Happy Makara Sankranti.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Happy Makar Sankranti.
Yeah, thank you.
What a wonderful I like in phrase just on one question by
Shaunaka.
Shaunaka. And such a great explanation lasting 1 hour as to why he asked that question, the reasons behind it, and the explanation is so beautiful. It doesn't leave any more questions to be answered at the end of the session on that topic.
That is the greatness of Bhashyakara. We have what I have done. I have only studied Bhashyakara and told you what he is doing. Nothing is added from our side. But that is the greatness. That's why when you read the Bhashyam, you feel so close to Adi Shankaracharya. So brilliance is what is brilliance is.
But to convey what has been said in English language, which is a foreign language, so effectively.
Yeah, that is there, of course. That is my contribution, and from which I got from my gurus. I've learned only in English. Even though, of course, I've learned Sanskrit, but all this explanation, everything from Pujya Swamiji, from Swami Sadatmananda ji, all that I have heard in the Gurukulam. So I'm just sharing what I have heard. That's all. Maybe I'm filtering it. I'm making it a little more concise, because in the Gurukulam, what used to happen was the same thing will be, you told about 1 hour, right? This particular question, how many classes it took in Gurukulam? 4 classes, 4 hours. But then the reason is there are so many students who are foreigners who don't know anything about Sanskrit. And foreigners means not just English speaking people from different Brazilians, then from Japanese. They have very little knowledge of English. So Acharya, my Guruji, he used to repeat the things so that at least one type of sentence will click, they will understand. So everything was repeated 3 times, 4 times. We used to feel bored. Oh my God, this is again, he is repeating. But then we understood why he is doing it. He used to explain also that I have to address the last student in the class. People who know everything, that's all very fine. You can close your ears if you don't want to listen. But for me, every student is important. So that is why, oh my God. So that is why what I have studied, notes and all, I have condensed it and try to make it, as concise as possible. That's all. Other than that, the whole contribution is from my Guru only.
So in this way, the English language is a great gift by the British rulers.
Yeah.
Where even though we all are of the same country, our languages are so different, and most of us don't know Sanskrit. Sanskritam. That is through English language we are able to.
We are able to understand, what is that? Even if we don't know Sanskrit, we are able to read the Sanskrit words, understand the meaning of each word. That is a very great accomplishment so far as we are concerned, rather, right? Because ultimately, lot of people learn Sanskrit, right? Purpose, nobody knows. Why are they learning Sanskrit? Just time pass. They have got free time. They learn Sanskrit. Ultimately, whatever little way, you don't need to learn the whole of Sanskrit, right? You don't need to learn entire your Paninian grammar. You don't need. So from Vedanta purpose, whatever is required, we have been taught and we have learned that and we are using that. That is enough. So that should be the approach in life, that everything that we do should be goal oriented. Some purpose should be there for that. Anyhow, that everybody's choice is there. They do their on their own. Years together,
Thank you very
learn
much.
Sanskrit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hari Om Guru.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Thank you, thank you. Yes, Sulekha ji, what is your question?
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Thank you for today's class. There's a lot to think about or to contemplate. My question is regarding the cause and effect that you had discussed throughout today's class with many examples. And I just would like your clarification that the effect, as you were speaking of, for example, all of the ornaments, the gold example, that the effect does not have its own independent existence. And that is the main difference between the cause and effect. They are related, but the cause has independent existence and the effect does not. So that the effect is the mithya. It is reliant, or it is getting its
Existence.
existence itself from that cause.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct understanding.
Thank you, Guruji.
That is what we have to understand about the whole world.
Yes.
Now, one or two examples like wood, the
Yes.
gold and all we've seen. Now extend that logic to the whole world. So there must be one cause. That one cause, if you know, then all the effects are known. If you know this is gold, then whenever you are presented with all the different ornaments, you'll say, oh, all are gold. Very good.
Right. And then my second question to that, if I could ask, is talking about knowing one thing, knowing its essentiality, its essence is knowing its truth.
Yes.
And that it is not necessary to know all the details, but knowing the truth or its satyam is the important consideration as we're learning it through the Vedas.
Correct.
And through Shruti and through Bhashyakara's explanations to us
Yes.
through you.
Yes.
Thank
That
you.
is the truth. That is what. Because the forms, names and forms can be many. You cannot know all of them.
Right.
So when can you say, I know everything, all the ornaments? When you know that everything is gold, then you know, I know all the ornaments. Whether you literally know the name and form of all the ornaments or not, you know the essence of all the ornaments is gold.
And the essence of all those things, the ornaments, is truth.
Is truth. Essence is the truth. Everything else is an appearance. Isn't it? Because all the ornaments can be converted back into gold. Isn't it?
Yes.
You can sort of melt all of them and they will again, what will be left? Only gold. So ornaments have got a temporary for transactional purposes, vyavaharika drishtya existence. But their existence is also depending upon the gold only. Gold is the one which is the truth of all the ornaments. So existence belongs to gold. And all the ornaments are existing or seem to be existing because of they are made out of gold.
So that the name and the form is temporary.
Temporary. It can be changed.
It can be
You can't
changed.
change the gold.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
That
Thank
is that in itself is a
profound.
profound.
Vedanta is very profound, and when we study the Upanishad, we go deep into it. Rather, we go deep in. That is why Upanishads are, so special. Bhagavad Gita and all also we don't go so deep, because Bhagavad Gita, it's meant also for all common people rather. More focused on our attitude, our behavior, and making our life better and all that. But here is the real knowledge, the jnanam comes from these Upanishads. So that everywhere, in each Upanishad has got its own, I would say, speciality. It goes deep into all these aspects in different ways, rather. So that's why you study all the Upanishads. It's so enjoyable.
I was just also going to say, just as you said that, the happiness in even hearing it, the lightness of being, to be able to hear this is such
You can see it in my face, that happy.
Yeah, I hope in my face as well.
It's so satisfying,
it's
so,
so beautiful,
yeah,
Guruji.
so
beautiful
profound.
and so appreciated. Thank you very much for
Hari
that.
Om. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Just a comment, Guruji. But only problem is, when we are around the people who are not aware of any Vedanta, it is very difficult, as you were once told, that we have to pretend a lot.
Do role playing, acting. Oh, yes. I'm telling you, suppose somebody has, even very seriously, somebody has died. But you can't go and talk Vedanta in that house, right?
True.
You have to be, maximum you can do in terms of consolation is, see, the world is like that. Whatever is born has to die one day. All karma and all that we can say. But that also we have to be very careful. So we should actually express shock. Oh my God, this has happened. It's such untimely death and things like that and all. But in our mind, we know that this is just a process. This is the whole process of this entire universe, how it works. So somebody is dead today, somebody is dead tomorrow. One fine day, I will also be dead.
Very true.
But
at least, the best part of it is actually, since we know the truth, now we are not fearful at all. That is very, very important attitude.
Very important. Knowing the truth is very important. Yeah. You're right. Absolutely. Anyhow, that is what all this knowledge gives us.
Correct.
Okay. I have one more comment.
Yes,
if I may, Guruji. The lightness of being that happens, it seems, when even listening and then afterwards contemplating or coming to the classes, that lightness of being is so full. I don't know, there's no words to describe. I'm sorry if I'm not describing it properly, but the fullness and yet being so light, even hearing it, gives such a tremendous amount of encouragement. And
absolutely.
I'm at loss for words. And I find even the role playing, as you were speaking and as Girishji was speaking, fully playing the role is as important. To be fully immersed in it is important, because that is part of this world. And so the people that we are among, we can't just pretend and say it in a superficial way when we are in that.
No, that role also has to be played, honestly rather.
Right. But I notice as well, just on that point, it is played, but it is played with such a lightness.
Yeah.
That it doesn't, even if something happens, it's not to dismiss what happens. It's not to be dismissive of anyone's pain or suffering, never. To be part and parcel, but at the same time to not absorb, whether your own suffering or someone else's suffering, but whatever way to alleviate, however can be practically helpful without giving unsolicited advice or without assuming or having an arrogance in thinking that we know what is best for others when we don't even know ourselves clearly as much.
Actually, in all those things, we must keep one thing in mind: compassion.
Yes.
If you are compassionate towards everybody, your behavior will automatically be, in alignment with that thing. So you don't need to even pretend and all that.
Right.
If you have true, real, honest compassion for every living being in the world,
yes,
then you don't need to do any drama, role playing. Of course, what you will be doing is role playing in the sense that you will be responding to a particular situation, right? But that response will be an honest response, not just a sort of a pretension, rather. So that is true. So the compassion is the key word. That should be what should be developed for us to deal with. Even if somebody is challenging us, then we have to understand that the person is ignorant about what I know. So it doesn't matter. I mean, he is bound to challenge. Understand him.
That humility comes.
Humility comes. So compassion gives
Yes,
you
yes,
acceptance, rather. You accept everybody, rather.
right.
Don't oppose, don't contradict. You're not in conflict with anybody, rather. Acceptance is
Right.
important. So all this is all, the whole
Right.
package, different components of
Right.
the
No,
package.
I
So that is what we have to.
Total agreement. Total agreement.
Total
Very
agreement.
true.
Yeah, very, very beautiful.
I appreciate.
So,
Yes, I appreciate so much how you have said it, and also many of the students, many of our colleague Gs have our students together. We are all learning from each other as well through the questions and through the answers. That practice of living, of being, and not becoming necessarily.
Yeah, that is what it is. No.
The accept aware to begin the world.
Yeah.
The world is so big that we can be within it. So has been very nice to hear the first talk coming to India to yesterday, last night, and hearing your class today has been quite special. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Happy Makara Sankranti.
Happy Pongal once again to all of
Happy
you.
Pongal. Thank you.
okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.